Hello, I'm going to start by apologising for some mistaken information I gave you about Martina Ognowska. I won't go through it all, but because when I saw her story, I looked up about 2 or 3 sources. And after I'd put the video up, I found a 4th source that elaborated. It said that she had there were some friends in the back of the car when this guy was assaulting her. It looks very much like she reacted to the way he was treating her. There was no doubt he was assaulting her. It wasn't quite the situation I gave, but I'm leaving the video up because the bare bones of the situation are correct. And maybe you could make a case for, manslaughter or something, 4 or 5 years sentence for that. But no, they went for murder and they gave her a full life sentence as well. So I'm not taking the video down because I still believe it's a gross miscarriage of justice. And it's sort of typical of a certain sort of attitude that the British legal system has to women who behave. In the 19th century, it was called unnatural behaviour. That is, women weren't expected to act in certain ways. And she falls into that category. And it looks like that's what's going on with Lucy Connolly as well. It's true that other people got long sentences for Facebook or Instagram posts or whatever. Peter Lynch actually didn't post anything. He was just holding up a placard. So these long sentences were dished out in the fever following the Southport riots. But the punishment that Ms. Connolly is receiving in prison now is going above and beyond anything that is strictly necessary for somebody like who made that sort of transgression. I'm Granniopteryx. I would appreciate it if you'd click that like button, if you'd subscribe to my channel, and if you'd share the video. If you want to support me financially, that's lovely too. I have 2 horses to support, so just think of their hungry little faces when you're considering to whom you might shove a pound or so. All right, let's have a look at this after the roar. This is an article in the Telegraph. Lucy Connolly was manhandled in prison. Now, this comes after a decision made by the governor, perhaps, but probably from higher up, the dear leader, or the dear leader's best friend, Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, or as much as a best friend can be in the Labour Party. She was denied some time out. Apparently prisoners are given leave every so often, and when other prisoners were given leave, she was kept in jail. And now apparently she's been put in a wing that's the violent wing. The worst. It's very Tommy Robinson, really. Tommy Robinson was also confined in the nuttier end of the custodial system. Lucy Connolly has been manhandled without provocation, handcuffed and stripped of privileges by prison officers, the deputy leader of Reform UK has claimed. This is Richard Tice here. Richard Tice visited Connolly at HMP Peterborough on Tuesday, where he said she had been mistreated by prison officers without explanation. He said the treatment appeared politically motivated. Oh, yeah, what a surprise. And designed to provoke a response from Connolly. It looks like Mr. Tice is saying that they want Connolly to fight back. And then they can say, well, she's obviously a violent woman. And maybe, because you get time off for the prison system, it goes like this. I don't know exactly the numbers, but let's assume you get 4 years a sentence, and you'll get off with 2 years if you have good behaviour, and then the next 2 years you spend on licence. That means you've got to be very careful how you live your life outside, or they haul you straight back into jail. It's something like that. And it looks like, according to the way Mr. Tice is talking about it, that they're treating her badly in the hope that she'll fight back, and then she'll lose her good behaviour ticket out of the prison. And you wonder why they might be doing that. Why do they want to keep a woman in prison? She has a sick husband to take care of and a 12-year-old daughter, and they appear to be trying to keep her away from her family. At least that's what it looks like to me. She was sentenced to 31 months in prison last year for a social media post in the wake of the Southport attacks. Her sentence, which she unsuccessfully appealed against, provoked major backlash, including from senior political figures such as Boris Johnson and Kemi Badenoch, the Tory leader. Connolly's alleged mistreatment happened after she was told that she would not be moving to an enhanced wing with full privileges, but would instead be placed in a 23-hour-a-day lockdown in an area holding the most violent prisoners. And you have to wonder why. I mean, she's obviously not a violent woman. And the crime she committed was not a crime of violence. When she challenged the decision to move her, she was allegedly restrained by officers with handcuffs to take her to her new cell. Mr. Tice, who visited Connolly on Tuesday morning, said, 5 days after the incident, the bruises on her wrists are still significant, yellow. It was obviously horrible what she went through. On Thursday, she was manhandled, mistreated with no provocation, denied enhanced accommodation to which she was entitled, and they gave her, frankly, the Nutter's Wild Wing, drugged violence. You have to think it's politically motivated. I can't see any other reason. And you wonder, do Starmer and Cooper, not necessarily in the same bed, do they lie, certainly not in the same bed if Starmer's involved, but that's another story. Do they lie there in bed at night thinking, now, how can we torture Lucy Connolly a bit more? It looks like they spent, instead of trying to deal with the multiplication of problems that Britain has, it looks like they're spending all their mental energies thinking of ways to torture Lucy Connolly. What is going on in their minds? The next few weeks before her release are going to be very challenging, worrying. Yeah, obviously what Tice is considering is that they're trying to blame her for being violent or something. I mean, she is on the violent wing of the prison, so obviously she's going to be a violent woman, isn't she? And then they can say, oh, well, she can't be let out at the time she's supposed to be let out. She's got to be kept in a bit longer because we have to punish her for being violent. I think it would suit the authorities to want to provoke a violent reaction from Lucy. I told Lucy to be very careful. Why are they doing this? Mr. Tice met the head of security to express his concerns and said he's looking at the complaint seriously. When we get the result of that complaint, if they have lost the body cam footage or any of that funny business, then I'll escalate the complaint and meet the governor. He added that he feared Connolly was being treated as Sir Keir Starmer's political prisoner and said she was mistreated, no question about it. In the hours after her removal to the new wing, she was starved. They gave her breakfast and then didn't feed her for the rest of the day. I'm delighted I was able to visit Lucy to offer her reassurance and protection. Well, yeah, maybe the fact that he was there has given her some protection, but who knows what goes on in that prison when everybody's gone home, or the politicians have gone home, I mean. I will be raising these serious concerns in the Commons tomorrow when I introduce my 10-minute rule bill. The proposed legislation, which has been nicknamed Lucy's Bill, would create a new public backstop for sentences thought to be unduly lenient or unduly harsh relative to the crime.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that leave be given in this House to bring in a bill to make provision for the general public to require and petition that the Criminal Cases Review Commission should review cases where the petitioners believe that sentences handed down are either too lenient or too harsh, and to make provision also for the review of such sentences and to make provision for the referral of such cases by the Commission to the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court, and for connected purposes, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I'm not so sure about that. I don't think it's a matter for the crowds. As a matter of fact, I don't think you can leave justice to the crowds. And I think basically this is what Richard Tice is proposing. And I don't think it's viable. We all know a very famous one where a judgment was left to the crowds, don't we? That's not what's necessary. What's necessary is to appoint judges who aren't social activists. Unfortunately, in, I think it was 2005, Tony Blair's government came up with the idea of appointing judges through a sort of quango. And that quango was supposed to be representatives of people from all over the country, all walks of life. And in the end, who elects the quango? Well, it ends up a sort of lefty paradise. And I did look up the lay members of the Judicial Appointments Commission. And at least 3 of them, to my memory now, were from the world of HR. There used to be HR people. I mean, these aren't people qualified to appoint judges. These are people who tend to be of a certain type, don't they? And unfortunately, a very woke type nowadays. So I don't think Mr. Tice is right about that. Well, that's it. It's truly horrendous what's going on here. I mean, it really is awful. They're trying to, it looks like they are trying to provoke a response or trying to get her to shorten her own existence. Threatening to keep her in for the full term, then that's enough to make anyone depressed. And if they're kept in a 23-hour lockdown in a wing that's full of people who are not entirely mentally stable and maybe making strange noises in the corridor, I do wonder what they're trying to drive Miss Connolly to do. And I just don't understand it. How can you have such a hatred for somebody like that? It's... Well, yeah, as I say, I can't understand it. All right, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.